time for another video. All right. Hello, everyone. Today, my name is Peter, and we are going to look at pens. We're going to look at paper, a very penny pen, some very papery paper. We're going to look at this, the Prefounte pen. It is a new pen from Japan by Platinum Pens. Now, I think previously to this, my only experience with Platinum has been this ink that I've been using a lot of. Where is it? Hello? Oh, I've got a lot of it, actually. By a lot, I mean 2 bottles. So we've got the Platinum ink, and now we have this pen, which I got all this stuff from a pen and paper stationery pen stuffs distributor called Federalist Pens. They sent this over. Thank you, Frank, at Federalist Pens. Now, this is a $10 pen, and we're going to see if, it can hold its own. We're going to see how far you can get on $10 worth of pen. I think it'll be pretty interesting because I have looked at a lot of other very expensive pens, $20, $25. $30, and we've even seen some pens that were $2,000 on this channel. I don't own any $2,000 pens, but I'm happy to look at $10 pens. Some of my favorite pens, in fact, my favorite fountain pen is like $15. So I am very confident this could do quite well. All right, so we're going to look at it. You know what else feels pretty good? Making your own website. With Squarespace, you can very easily make a website that doesn't look like it was easy to make. That's the magic of it. With limited effort, you can make a masterpiece of web design. Put yourself out there and let other people get connected to you. I know you've got all these different social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, so on and so forth. It keeps growing, right? But with your Squarespace website, you can tie all of these things together. Pull all your posts, messages, images, pull all those things in, have them synced into your website, but also with your website, publish out to all of those things automatically. And that way, save a lot of time and effort. So check it out. Go to squarespace.com for your free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/PeterDraws for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. All right. And interestingly enough, they also sent over some paper here, 2 pads of paper, which are intended to be used with ink and pens. Because a lot of the time I use paper and people, like sometimes I just grab random sheets of like printer paper out of my printer to use to test the pens on. And I personally kind of like how the ink feathers, right? You draw a line and the ink seeps into the paper and goes out like that. I kind of like that, but some people notice, like, Peter, that's not even good paper. It's feathering out. The lines aren't crisp. And sure, okay, you've got a good point. We'll try using some actual nice pen paper this time. And you can tell it's pretty nice paper because, for one thing, both of these pads of paper cost more than the pen itself. This is a $10 pen. This one under here is a Rhodia pad. We've got a Rhodia dot pad, as you can see. I don't know if you can tell. I do like grid paper like this. It's got little dots here. Rhodia. And this is a $16 pad. I mean, which isn't unheard of for a pad of paper. I'm sure I have paid far more. Especially like watercolor paper ends up costing ridiculous amounts of money sometimes. But then this smaller pad right here, A4 size. Now, I call this Tomo River, but That one time I had a video with David from Fig Boot on Pens. He called it Tomoe River, but I don't know if I can do that. It just feels weird to me. So if you'll allow me, I'm going to call it Tomo River, not Tomoe. Anyways, this pad of paper is $17. So I guess that just kind of speaks to the quality of it, I hope. We'll see. I'm going to slide it out of the plastic now. Now we're going to do a drawing on one of these pads of paper, probably the larger one, because go big or go home. You know, I always say. Whenever I have the opportunity, I always do the biggest drawing possible. Don't I? Except for almost every time. Anyways, I do like the texture here. The cover is embossed. It's like kind of a silvery embossed cover. Not this part, but the Tomoe part. Is this a volcano? Is that a famous volcano? The Tomo volcano? With the flaxen fields down here. Wait, but before we can test the paper, we have to crack this little guy open. Let's see. Okay, now this is as far as I can tell, or according to the information I've been given about this pen, it does come in a few different tip sizes, medium, fine, etc. And also it comes in a few different colors. This is the dark blue. Let me open this up for a better background. Now this paper is a lot rougher than I expected. I thought it was going to be a lot smoother. In my experience, in my granted limited experience with like ink and pen paper. Is that what it should be called? Pen paper? Stuff has usually been on the smoother side, but this has actually a nicer texture than I expected. Also, this is nice and shiny. It's a little bit clear. Comes with a cartridge, which I do regret a little bit because I'm not a big fan of cartridges, because then you're stuck with the color of the cartridge. Although it is a pretty nice cartridge. I mean, even the cartridge even has a little metal ball in there. Here on the nib, you can see the platinum logo there, the P. The 05 perhaps means, you know, the size of the nib. I like all of this here. As you can see, I've already posted it. It posts pretty well. Platinum, made in Japan. Prefounte. That's Prefounte? I don't know how to pronounce this really. So I'm going to pop this. Wait, first, I think it's worth my time just to see if this Kaweco piston does fit on here. I don't think it will. You know, because Platinum probably has their own kind of proprietary size and fitting for this sort of thing. So I'm just going to pop this in here. According to my sources, a Platinum piston costs $8, so that would almost double the price of the pen, which $8 for a piston isn't unheard of. I mean, the pistons I bought for my Kaweco pens and stuff like that, I think, are about $8. Oh, there we go. The ink busted in there immediately. Started smushing around. Look at it go. Should I squeeze this? Will more of it squeeze into there? I'm trying to squeeze more of it into there. I don't really know. Don't really know what's going on. Oh well, I'm going to screw the back of it onto here. There's something shaking around in there too. That's pretty good. I guess it helps keep the ink flowing right. So I guess this is a medium nib, I would guess, because the 05 has an M after it right here. I wonder if it works. Let's try this out. Oh, it works immediately. See, this one is bleeding a lot. A ton. This is like drawing on a paper towel. Wait a second. Oh, this is like a cover sheet. This is like a cover sheet of paper. No wonder it feels so weird. This next sheet of paper feels totally different. Oh yeah. They fooled me. I got. I got. Test. It's pretty smooth. It's pretty satisfying. I'm just going to draw some parallel lines here, see how that feels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It feels pretty good. I like it. Let's try out this pen, which seems to be performing very well. It has a good mix of smoothness and also grip. Like, I've tried out some pens that were just pure butter, which at first felt nice, but then once I started drawing with them, it's like walking out onto the ice skating rink and just trying to walk around with your shoes on, right? It just gets a little bit frustrating after a while. You want a little bit of feedback, and that's what this is giving me. But also, it's not scratchy. I don't feel like I'm drawing with the tip of a knife blade or anything. It's right there in the middle somewhere. Here's a few more scribbles, right? Here's some quick ones. It's working. And weirdly enough, I actually do like this shade of blue. Something about it isn't totally abhorrent to me. Wait, let's see if this bled through at all. Nope, no bleeding. I mean, it is thin. It's thin, soft paper, so the only thing that went through is like some indentations, which isn't the end of the world. Let's try out the big pad, dot pad. How does this work? It's like a plastic thing. Do I crease this? I guess it creases because look, there's like little Rhodia logos right here. Oh yeah, there's like little creases here, so it folds back like that. Yeah, it doesn't work. I mean, it does work pretty good. There we go. Okay. Now let me post it. Oh. Look at that. I mean, it looks pretty good. That's pretty good for $10. That's what I'm saying. I would like to know what other... Does it almost feel like my camera's pointed a little low for this video? Like it's like chopping off my face? I wanted everyone to be able to see my cool Sufjan Stevens shirt, so I made sacrifices. You get some of my shirt and the lower half of my face. It's just how it works sometimes. All right. Rhodia. I have mixed feelings about this name Rhodia because I once knew a girl named Rhoda, and that's who I think of every time. Not that there was anything wrong with her. I don't have mixed feelings about her. It's just, when you have something and it reminds you of someone, it's just interesting. It takes you back. It's a long time ago. Yeah, it's working. Look at it go. A little bit scratchy right there on the quick ones, but yeah. And it's got the nice little dots here, which the nice thing about these dots is they're not so oppressive like a straight up grid paper is. So you can easily ignore them if you want to, but you can also use them if you want to. They're there or not. You make the choices. So if you do want to draw a nice straight line, right, you can pay attention to them. Not as much a straight line, but a line that doesn't waver too much or go up and down too much. I don't know what I'm trying to say. but you know what I mean. Like so. A little consistency goes a long way. When you draw these lines, you probably want to draw from the shoulder. The more of them I'm drawing, the sloppier they're getting. Did you guys ever, you know what this would be amazing for? Did you ever play that game when you were little where you'd take turns drawing these lines? You'd take turns drawing a line from a dot to a dot like this, and then if anyone ever drew one line like this, you get to close it in and write your initial in it, and then whoever had the most, you know, like this, they would win. Wouldn't that be amazing to play on a piece of paper this big? I mostly played it with my sister, I think, or my mom in like doctors' waiting rooms and stuff like that to keep us entertained. She would give us a piece of paper and some pens and, you know, I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but I have good memories of that. Anyways, I'm going to flip the paper here, and I think we should draw a picture right here. Let me zoom in. There we go. Okay, need some space. I will draw here with this pen. I do like the Tomo River paper also, but I'm going to draw with this just because it's a little bigger. I'm going to draw on this paper just because it's a little bigger, and I don't always do the larger paper drawings just to see what goes on. We'll see. Okay. All right. The drawing went pretty well. For part of this video, I want to give you a bit of a state of the channel address, as it were, mention some things about the channel. But first I'll talk about this drawing. The pen performed well. It did. I liked the pen. I could see myself carrying this around in my pocket if I didn't already have some other pens that I liked carrying around in my pocket. Apparently this is supposed to be a bit of an upgrade, a bit of maybe a successor to the Platinum Preppy, which is a $4 fountain pen, which is pretty amazing. They can make those for $4. I haven't tried one of those, but maybe I should also try a $4 fountain pen. One of the things I like least about this pen is that I don't know how to pronounce it. Prefounte. Like that E on the end really is throwing me for a bit of a loop mentally. I don't know if I should pronounce it or not, but really it's not a big issue, obviously. But it worked well. There was no skipping, no stuttering, no bumping and grinding, nothing like that. It worked well. It didn't run out of ink. It didn't feel like it was. It worked great. And then towards the end of the drawing, you'll see I came in with some colored pencils to add some accents, maybe just like the last 10% of the drawing or so. I used some blue colored pencil for some shading, and then some red colored pencil for some little lines and some little words in there with my made up language. I used Prismacolor colored pencils for that. Yeah. The drawing went good. I was happy with how big the paper was. It gave me plenty of room, and I used the grid paper sparingly, but when I did want it, when I did need it, it was there and useful and good. But when I didn't want it, I kind of forgot about it, and it didn't bother me. So it's perfect. It's the perfect amount of structure. Now, I want to talk about this channel. Basically, all of you, everything I do on this channel affects all of you, right? So I want to be, what's that word? Clear, not clear, transparent, right? Basically, I just want to tell you like my plans for the channel. Now, this feels like a very serious talk, but it's not. Look, I'm going to school right now. As I've mentioned, I just finished my first year of school. That's a big deal. And obviously after I finish going to school, I don't know how much longer it will take, because I kind of went into school with like some credits already, but some of the credits didn't really apply to anything. Some of them did. I maybe went in with like 40 credits. Maybe I was like a junior or a sophomore. It depends on how you look at the program I was going to, but I'm going to school for interior architecture, and depending on whether or not I go to another year or two of getting a master's degree in actual architecture, I might be an architect after I'm done with school for good or not. I don't know. I can't see that far into the future. I'm not that good at planning. But the whole reason I'm going to school, really, well, there's lots of reasons. One reason is just because I was getting a little bit of cabin fever being stuck in my apartment all day. I wanted a little bit more structure in my day. I wanted to be able to see people and interact with people, For so many years of doing this YouTube thing, I was just sitting in my apartment all day, doing my thing here alone. I was going a little bit crazy, right? But also I was trying to future-proof my life a little bit, right? I know in the back of my mind that I'm just not sure if it's wise for me to just rely on YouTube forever, because you know how fickle the internet is, and things come and go so fast, especially internet trends, I would have really regretted to be a Vine star, because Vine, look at that thing came and went so fast. Some Vine stars, they did really good and caught their stride with some other platform, but some of them just kind of disappeared. I don't know what they're doing now, but that could happen with YouTube also. A lot of people, I think, are taking it for granted, and I don't want to take it for granted and just assume it will be here forever. I don't know, what's her name, Susan, CEO of YouTube, or some guy at Google could just wake up and I'm just terrified someone will just wake up and delete YouTube one day, and then I'll just be sitting here with my hands empty. Anyways, so I'm going back to school now because I don't have a college degree, right? And I don't think a college degree is everything, but it is something, and it would hopefully give me a little bit of job security if I don't end up doing YouTube in the future. And to be honest, I do love doing YouTube, okay? I do love doing YouTube, and I do see myself doing YouTube pretty much forever. But if I had my preference, I think I would love to go back to doing YouTube, back to the way it was when it was just my hobby, right? I made that classic critical error of making my hobby my job. And YouTube is my job right now. It's how I support myself. It's how I make money. And it was like I heard that so many times, but somehow I justified it, or I said that doesn't apply to me, or I told myself that I'm doing it in a special way where it won't ruin it for me. And I'm glad that I don't think it's ruined art for me, but it has taken some of the joy, or it's threatening to take some of the joy out of making YouTube videos for me. Just when you take something you really love doing and your ability to put food on the table and, a roof over your head hinges on you keeping on doing that. Sometimes if there's something you like doing, it's nice to choose not to do it. But when you're forced to do it, when you need to do it, when you have to do it, I don't know, it's weird. Anyways, so right, I could be totally wrong about what I would like to do in the future. I'm not that good at predicting what I'll like in the future, but here's my vision of what I'll like to do in the future is to get like a job as some sort of architect or something like that. Some job with a degree, right? Maybe interior design or something. I have no idea. It doesn't really matter. I'll figure that out then, and then go back to doing YouTube as a hobby. And hopefully at that point, I won't need to do like sponsored segments and stuff anymore. I'm very thankful that I am able to do sponsored segments. You might have noticed that I've just started doing these, having sponsored videos recently, maybe in the last year or so. I put them off for a long time because I was just kind of beating myself up about it, saying that, doing sponsored segments is I'm like selling my soul or something. But it really does kind of double my money some months. And so I just I thought it'd be foolish to not use that, at least because I'm at least able to save some money now. Even thanks to Squarespace, Squarespace is pretty much single-handedly paying for my college education here. So I don't know. I thought it'd be fiscally irresponsible to not do some of these sponsored segments, and I do want to thank all of you for continuing to watch through all of this. I don't take all of you for granted, because it is only because all of you, the viewers, some of you, I know some of you don't care at all about this, what I'm talking about right now. You just want me to draw pictures and stuff, but I do want to thank you for sticking around. Some of you have been watching for a very, very long time. You're very dedicated. You comment on every video. Some of you don't comment at all, and that's fine too. You're just there watching, and I appreciate you also. But I appreciate you sticking around, even though I do sponsored segments and stuff. I know it's not like the most thrilling thing to have a sponsored segment for like 1 minute every video, but it does make a huge difference on my end. And ultimately, I'd love to not have to do it in the future when I get like a real job. I know. Maybe people just say that. Maybe there's people with real jobs that also have sponsored segments too, but maybe not. Anyways, and I'm like speaking for my future self, but I don't know what I'm saying, but I just want to thank all of you. I feel like I'm talking like it's all coming to an end right now, but it's not coming to an end. I still see me making YouTube videos for years and years and years. I love drawing. I love making YouTube videos. Okay, it's wonderful. I don't know, there were just some thoughts in my head. It's the sort of thing that keeps me up at night. I'm just like thoughts turning over and over in my head as I'm trying to fall asleep at night. And I thought maybe if I put some of them out here in a video, I might be able to sleep better. Anyways, thank you. I have all of you to thank. So I thought I would tell you, because you're the ones that it impacts. That I probably will continue doing the sponsored segments for a while, but I hope you don't mind. And let me know what you think about them. I have turned down some of them. Like I've turned down, ones for like some mobile games like Raid Shadow Legends. I turned down that one. I mean, maybe there is a way to integrate that into my content that isn't totally, it seems just kind of a polar opposite of my kind of content. I try to choose ones that are that can kind of work into my videos without totally throwing everything off. And I've been approached by like the VPNs, like NordVPN, ExpressVPN. I didn't do those just because they seem so kind of sketchy. Like they advertise that they give all of this privacy. They advertise that they give so much more than they really do. I think based on the research I've done, it seems like they kind of outright lie to the people they're advertising to, and I won't do any of those sponsorships unless I can only do it without saying any of the talking points I don't agree with. I don't know. Anyways, let me know what you think about it all. And a lot of you, of course, it's the internet. Under the guise of anonymity, a lot of you, of course, already say a lot of things totally unfiltered, which is good. I appreciate the feedback. I read almost every comment and try not to get too bent out of shape by the 1 in a million negative comments. I am very, very pampered and blessed by the impressively just supportive community here on Peter Draws. So thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to go now. Yeah. I think I have a sandwich to make for lunch. Roast beef. I have to choose between provolone and pepper jack cheese. And I got some lettuce to put on there for the crunch. And I don't know how healthy it is, because every time I tell anyone I'm eating iceberg lettuce, they just tell me it's all water. But, oh, did you hear that car? Anyways, they tell me every time I get like scoffed at for eating iceberg lettuce, and I don't like that because they tell me it's all water, but water is also good for you. But there has to be some structure to the iceberg lettuce to hold it all together. That part has to be good for you, right? Anyways, I use Killer Dave's 21 seed bread and some sort of mayo, Hellman's I think, and the Grey Poupon mustard. That's what my sandwich will consist of. Anyways, thank you everyone. I'm gonna go now. Have a sandwich. Let me know what you're having for lunch or dinner or breakfast. I'd love to hear about it. Because I've been eating a lot of these sandwiches lately, and I could use a little variety. If you have any good ideas that are quick and easy. I did make some really nice chicken the other day, maybe a few weeks ago now. I posted on Twitter, and it looked really good, and it tasted really good. So, like, I know I'm capable of, like, cooking, right? Like, nice things that something I might make, for, like, if I had a date or something, and I would, like, wanted to cook something for her. But if I'm just by myself, it's just not worth it, because it just uses so many ingredients, dirties so many dishes, takes so much time. It's just like, what's the point, right? I don't know. Plus, I've been very weak with my conviction. I should have poor self-control because I've just been ordering way too much DoorDash recently, and I've put on some weight over the quarantine. Maybe 15, no, probably not 15, at least 10 pounds over the past 10 months. Not 2 months, like the quarantine months. Yeah. I put on 10 pounds, a solid 10. And I think it's mostly a couple days. There were several instances during which I ordered DoorDash twice in one day, which first of all is very unhealthy and also very expensive. And I'm really trying not to do that anymore because it's just not good. It's better just to eat a sandwich, or I've been eating pot pies. Those pot pies are good. Marie Callender's, or what's with those frozen dinners they're all pointlessly gendered, the Hungry Man meals. What's with that pointless genderization of food? Anyways, they do make some good pot pies also. I eat those. I cook them in the oven, and they're way better to cook them in the oven than when you microwave them. I don't mind waiting an hour because I have all the time in the world just sitting around here anyways. I just have to think ahead. Plus, or if I wait an hour to cook it, I'm even more hungry when it's done. It's perfect. Anyways, I gotta go now. All right, bye everyone. Hope you're doing okay. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Here's the drawing. All right, bye. I love you guys.